Welcome to an episode of Ground Floor where we can agree to disagree, still be family. Still working on intro stuff. I'm your host with all titles, this co-host Jerome. Welcome to the show, brother.
What's going on, good people? We got a good topic tonight. Let's get it.
Yeah, today's topic is how is your health? We was talking about it in the last episode, so this gonna be this one. The ladies had to do some stuff, but we still gonna talk about health because that's the thing going on around a lot of people getting their health together. You got your mental, your physical, your spiritual health, and we start with mental. If you need real help, call 988 or see a therapist, your pastor, or someone. But if you just in a funk, sometimes you might need to ask yourself why. Because it might not be that deep where you really need that serious stuff. You just might be having a bad moment. And that's okay because you can get past it. You shouldn't stay there. That's when, okay, you need some help if 2 or 3 weeks later you still in that funk and it turns into depression because you can't let go of whatever it is you're dealing with. So what's some ideas or things and takes you have on mental health, Brother Ron?
I was laughing because you said Brother Rome, but
you got glasses
I,
today.
I just sent you prior to us going live a video where a young man recorded his wife breaking down. And when we were coming up as kids, they used to call it somebody having a nervous breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the young lady is pregnant with their third child. And so she was telling him that she didn't want, the kids right now. So he was recording saying, hey, my wife is telling me she don't want the kids, but she's pregnant with the third child. And he was like, well, we're not having an abortion. And she was like, it's not even about an abortion. I just don't want to deal with the kids. I don't want to be a mother. And he was like, well, it's because the baby wakes you up at night and things like that. And I'll pull up all of the facts on it, but there's something called postpartum depression after someone has a child, and it can linger years after the child is born. It doesn't have to be year 1, year 2. It can linger some years. We don't know the dynamics of their situation. One thing I can tell you that hit home watching that video is it seems like the young lady doesn't have much help. When you don't have a support system, whether it's her parents, his parents, brother, sister, somebody that can alleviate the stress level. One child can be too much for one person. But when you have 3, and let's just say she was nursing the prior 2 children, she's going to end up nursing most likely the third, and it's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of
absolutely. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. It's draining. You can see how draining it is for animals, let alone humans. Imagine the young ladies that have twins, triplets. Imagine what they're going through. So the fact that she has, 2 other children and she's pregnant with the third, I was watching that video and I said, wow, man, he didn't even know how to respond. He responded by, one, recording his wife, putting it on the internet for everyone. And the first thing they teach you when you go to premarital counseling is to keep everything in house. If anything, if they're involved in the church, this is the time for them to reach out to the church. And sometimes there's people who has a business, whether it's a daycare, whether it's a nanny service, but sometimes people need a break. And, if they don't have anybody that they can trust, maybe they can find somebody that they can trust from the church to alleviate that stress sometimes, to give her a break, man. So I think that it's unfortunate, but like I said, that's real. So let me get my phone here. I want to look up postpartum while you talk.
Now, flip side of that, it could be staged. Because nowadays, these people be doing way too much stage stuff on real issues.
The skits.
Because just on the flip side of it, for devil's advocate, if they stage this, are you trying to bring awareness to this to help people, or are you just trying to get some likes?
Mm-hmm.
Because if this is real life and she really dealing with this, you kind of a sucker to film your wife going through this, having a little breakdown. And instead of you trying to go get her help or something, you want to film it for the world to see, to get some likes or whatever crap. Who raised you? That everything that private needs to be on TV. Nah, if that was truly real, you need to get her some serious help. Because she's crying out for help even from what she showed. And if she does have postpartum depression, some of them go left in her kids, unfortunately. And you might think this funny game just filmed instead of, no, we need to go, let's go to the hospital, let's get you some help. Let's call it, if you're in church, a pastor or a therapist, let's help you with this. And if he ain't doing nothing, step up and be a man and help your wife. Because she's crying out for help. And you sit up here putting this for the world to see, to get views and go viral, ain't helping your household. So Lord forbid we pray things get better, but if it go left, then people gonna crucify you like, oh, she was crying out for help, idiot. Why don't you do something instead of filming it? Now the kid's been hurt. Everybody will condemn him if he don't step up, if this is real, and get her help. Because it could go left. And we praying to the Lord, it don't. She get the help she needs.
What you just said is real, man. And like you said, everybody doing skits these days. This very well could be a skit, but we're taking it as if it's real and looking at it like, hey, if this is really what's going down, you're going about it the wrong way. And I'm going to read what it says, the postpartum period. It says typically, not that it has to be, but it says typically it lasts 6 to 8 weeks. After the childbirth, but clearly if they got 2 other children, which, like I said, what she's going through is a whole lot more, man. Depression is real, and so there's various titles of depression that's out there, and like you said earlier, you have to seek therapists. Some people can go to the therapist and talk it out with whatever resources they're giving you, and that's fine. Some people have to take medication to be fine. So I know that in this video she was pregnant. There may not be much medication she can take so it doesn't affect the child right now.
True.
But maybe they can give her some resources, some natural supplements that she can take that wouldn't affect the child in a negative way. I think that that's key, is knowing that. So looking at that video, I would say instead of recording your wife, take her to a therapist, get her scheduled, let her talk some things out, because she's definitely been holding on to some things, and it's probably things.
You're right. That's been a minute.
Yeah, she holding on to some things she need to get out, without you being there, so she can be 1,000% honest with the male or the female, whichever she's comfortable with, and go from there.
And to me, she was giving key words. I don't want to go through this again. I had this 3rd kid. I don't even want these kids. Normal moms don't say that. That's like something ain't right. But he too busy filming like a fool, in my opinion. Instead of you hearing the words coming out of her mouth that sound very dire. And you ain't, let me get off this thing and start tending to my wife and get her some help. That's why, like, unfortunately today, with all these people want to be on social media so bad, you have to just look at it. It looks serious, but it could be a skit about something serious. Because you look kind of weird watching her break down like that, and you just recording like nonchalantly. And she's saying some words that I think doctors would say, "Are you listening to what she's saying?" Some women leave their families too.
Hey, that's a good point, man. What you basically saying is, don't miss the signs. Those signs that stand out. You know, like a sore thumb. Like I said, we don't know if this video is 100% real or if it's a skit. But at the end of the day, either way, the way he going about it in the video is definitely not the way a mate should go about it. Sometimes, like you and I, we're far from a licensed therapist, but you just posted the number on here where people can call and get the proper, crisis line and get the help that's needed.
Yeah, you can call that number and like, hey, my wife over here saying this and this. I need some help. Because this is a real topic that people deal with. And it might seem scary because a lot of dudes don't like dealing with emotional confrontation, but you gotta put your big boy pants on and walk through it and deal with it because you are the head of the household. That's your job to protect your family. So if she in crisis, you got to get rid of the crisis by getting her the help she needs.
Mm-hmm.
And not posting on social media for no damn likes. I mean, it's getting disgusting of what people would do now just to be seen. It's too much in 25. I just saw that the RFK Jr. head of the Human Health Services is looking to lay off 10,000 people. And I ain't know that. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of people.
Mm.
So in less than 4 months, it's been a lot going on. And they just had a protest about Trump and Elon Musk, or President Trump, Elon Musk, downtown. I saw on Metro Detroit Instagram video where like thousands of people walked from the Detroit Institute of Art all the way down near Little Caesars. I'm like, dang, it's a lot going on.
Wow. Yeah, I seen a little clip of them, the protesters that was out there.
And they were deep like Wu-Tang. Wasn't no little 5 people like, yeah, it looked like about 1,000 people out here showing they discern. Even some of the DHS workers went to the Capitol to protest about losing their jobs.
Mm.
So I get we all watching all this in real time, and a lot of stuff is going on. Like, whoa, wait a minute. It is real. Yes, it's real. God is real too. You'll get through it. But mind your surroundings. Start doing wellness checks with your people. Because they might be internalizing what's going on around the world. Maybe different from how you doing it. You know, have that old school sit at the dinner table. What's going on with you? That we grew up with. Because kids, they talking about what's going on. We did it. Man, y'all see what happened in the news? They talking too. How they felt. Where they head at.
1,000%.
Because this is going to go down in history, one of the years you ain't never seen before, where a lot is going on. And it's just the 4th month this year.
And we just got into this one.
Yeah. They even starting to say the recession word. So, I mean, God ain't a creator of fear. He got you if you believe. But I know people hearing this type of talk going to have them. God got you. But still pay attention because you need to know what's going on around you so you know how to move.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put your head in the sand. See what's going on so you know what to do. Make sure your family good. And there's a lot. I get it. There's a lot. I mean, social media is 24-hour news now. You can be scrolling, just check what's going on with people like, whoa, what happened over there? Die. And then it starts trending like 5 minutes later, like, oh, this got blown up over here in 2-2, for example. Like, what the world? News is rapid now. But don't have your head on the swivel.
Mm-hmm.
Stay grounded, because you got it. You got to keep your mental health sane, because the sun gonna come up tomorrow. So if you heard something just out of this world today, the sun gonna come up tomorrow. You're gonna be okay.
Keep your head up, like Pac said.
Man, if he was alive right now, he could make a triple album. That thing would sell like crazy because there's so much going on.
Man,
that you don't hear people talking about in the rap game, which is sad that we don't have no real people talking about social issues no more like they used to.
Right.
There's a lot going on to be talked about. Unfortunate. Now, physical health. What you doing for your physical health? I know for me, recently been in the hospital. Gotta be obedient. Sugar was 879. Almost died. God spared me. I re-switched up what I eat, working out, take my medicine, and that's been a adjustment to looking at your mortality and really understanding that it really is about you eat. You need stuff. You need food to live. You don't live to eat. It ain't that deep. And sugar and all that stuff is good. I mean, Coney Island, I was a slut for the chili fries or pizza. I had my fill. But now I don't give a damn about food. As long as I got what I need to survive, that's all I need. If I can eat the same thing, drink my lemon water with real lemon, that's what I'm doing. But fulfilling my purpose is more important than going back to slutting with all the junk food. Ain't worth it.
Yo, I like what you're saying there. The thing, especially for us men, when you start hitting your 40s, 50s, it's certain procedures that they require and suggest that should be done. Now, nobody's going to force you to get it done. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to force you to get it done, but it's certain things that as men we can't put off. And as you know, Jeff, I have several nurses, registered nurses on my side of the family with the cousins. And the one thing that you hear all the time is people saying, I don't like doctors, especially men. I don't like the doctor. I don't like the doctor. But the way I look at it is, would you rather go to the doctor once out of the year?
Facts.
Or would you rather be, I'm going to use you as an example, be in a situation where you're in the hospital, unbeknownst to you, and now you forced to do what they tell you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing is, the better choices on the food was optional prior to that. The better choices of exercising or not was optional before that. The lack of medications, you didn't have to work. You didn't have to worry about that prior to that. Now you have to work out. You have to get better, and now you're taking the medication until further notice. So my thing is, let's just prevent those things and go to the doctors, fellas, once out of the year. Most insurances, I can't say all, most insurances doesn't pay for this. You usually got to pay for it. They'll send you the bill after the fact. But have your testosterone levels checked when you go to do your physical, because that's one thing that is guaranteed to go down for men as each year passes. And some of the things that men deal with, like ED is erectile dysfunction in the bedroom. It may not be what you think it is. It may not be just all 100% stress and all the other things. It could very well be that your testosterone levels are low. So definitely go to the doctors, fellas. As far as what I personally do, I try to work out 4 days out of the week, sometimes 5. And exercise is definitely one of my biggest things. Lifestyle wise, when it comes to the food, I definitely make better choices. I call the pizzas, the double cheeseburgers, all of those things, the convenient foods. It's easy when you're in sales to just eat convenient foods out and about. Oh, let me pick this up. Now
Mm-hmm.
I force myself to have to go in somewhere. I force myself to have to go to like a Chipotle. If
Okay.
I don't already have my own things to heat up, I force myself to go to a Chipotle because you can get your rice, your steak, uh, cheese or no cheese, but choosing healthier options. Chick-fil-A,
Mm-hmm.
getting into salads and everything. And I know we have some vegans and vegetarians out there, and I'm not one to knock anybody and what's healthy to you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm not 100% vegetarian. I'm not 100% vegan. However, I do go to uh, a vegetarian vegan restaurant from time to time, and I know exactly what I'm gonna get. I know exactly what I'll eat. It's just that that's not my way of being every day. I try to, I would say, more. The best way to put it, the diet that I have on a daily is a Mediterranean type of diet. Uh,
Okay.
So if you look at around the world, what is the best diet to have? The diet that keeps people the least obese, um, the healthiest, things of that nature. It's a Mediterranean diet. And so that is the diet that I pretty much live by on a regular basis. So you can eat your chickens, but you're not really eating fried food. You're eating a lot of
Mm-hmm.
pan-seared or baked. You got some pastas in there, and you have if you're a fish person, you can do fish or even seafood. So just take a look into that if you're just thinking of what should I do. Um, Lastly, I'll say I got a juicer recently for Christmas, and I can honestly say I'm not too far removed from probably being 100% juicing in the next probably 5 years.
Okay.
I think I can actually do that, opposed to just eating vegetarian or vegan the whole time. I think if I did the juicing thing and doing it right, I can make that work, and that'll be something. And that's been proven. The people who's done it for years, whether it's a man or women, that's living in the 80s and 90s, they're a lot healthier than the other elderly people at their age when they juice.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, like with my situation, depression is real. Being laid off, you think you fighting it off, but you had that one moment of anxiety. That boy creep in, and you overeating the bull jive, over drinking some Crown. You're doing way too much. You shouldn't be doing. So definitely deal with those issues, whatever you might be going through, because something will drive if your eating habits change. Like say if you might eat pizza twice a month, but what if it ain't you been laid off your job? Maybe you're more stressed at your job. Now you buying a pizza every Friday. Now if you drinking it with pop or water or something, you got some Jack or something with it. So you might not be realizing, but your actions are showing you're trying to cope for something you're dealing with that you need to talk out loud or go see somebody about and deal with it so it don't affect your health. Because we tend to stress eat or drink, smoke, whatever we're dealing with, instead of dealing with the root issue so we can come back to balance. If you want to throw that in there, because I know a lot of people might be dealing with depression right now, stuff they dealing with. And when you're a man, you ain't supposed to talk about this. You're a human being. You need to talk about it. You need to deal with it. And if the people around you actually got love for you, they're going to want you to talk about it so you get the help. The biggest thing I got people is, you should have said something like, you know, This is new to me. I'm used to doing me. I ain't used to always really depending on God supply my needs. I mean, we listen to that, but really sit back and like, okay, that's what I got to hold on to for real, for real. And he has, but that's a tough pill to swallow. You've been taking care of yourself for 20-something years that you've been wrong. And that mental angst of it, you have to process and deal with it. Because if you don't, you might start overindulging in things to try to cope for dealing with it. And maybe someone might notice, like, yeah, when you start eating a lot of fast food, you ain't really eat all that. That's a sign something ain't right with you, but you ain't telling nobody. And then maybe you might have someone that's more inquisitive, like, okay, you done switched up on everything you've been doing. You've been like the healthiest person. Every time I look up, you got some junk, you got some drink, you got weed, you got sick. What is going on in your life? And when you hear it, don't respond. Because you might think, man, this dude, a girl tripping over this little boy, yeah. But to them, it ain't that. It's a mountain. That's why you're seeing their behavior and eating patterns changing. So ask in love and concern to help them, not judge them. So they like, that's why I ain't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? Compared to, no, man, we want you or her good, instead of you think you all alone in what you're doing, because you're not. You got a community that wants you to be here. But if you're dealing with stuff, you got to talk to them about it.
You know, you bring up a good point. I always say, I think I can speak for the men. I can't speak for the ladies because the ladies not on here today. But one thing I think I seen with my own family is that when you have a lot of girls, a lot of women, they are more comfortable just being open about, you know, what they have going on, the things that they need to get, you know, checked out, and doing the different things like the ladies doing the mammograms because you may have a loved one that has had breast cancer before. All of those different things that you have to monitor over the years, because some stuff can be hereditary. And like high blood pressure, diabetes, those type of things. It's like sometimes you have some things that work against you just off of your genetics. And you have to be conscious of that for those who knows, you know, where their background is, and then you know that one parent had severe or high blood pressure, the other one has diabetes. It's like a seesaw. It's something that you have to take serious as you grow older. You know, you got to monitor the salt intake. You got to monitor the sugar intake. You have to monitor all of those different things. And like I said, you could do that just by going to your doctor regularly, doing the annual physical, and you will learn a lot because they do draw blood, you know. And I know some guys and girls don't like, we call them shots, but at the end of the day, you know,
you need it.
You need it. And it's like, if you got to have somebody go in there and hold your hand during that process, do whatever you need to do to get over your phobia. Because, you know, you may have somebody depending on you. You may have children depending on you, a spouse depending on you. Parents that don't want to see you leave this earth before them. So it's kind of one of them things where just think about the loved ones that's in your circle and how they would feel if you weren't here and everything, and dealing with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, the bargaining stage of the grief, as everybody say. You know, that's how I look at it now. It's like, man, you know, when I have a daughter, she'll be 13, Lord willing, in a few weeks.
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And my son, he's 5, he'll be 6 in September. It's like, dude, when you have people depending on you, you have to go out there and do everything you can to be here for them. until they grow old and can fend for themselves. And so don't sell yourself short. Don't sell them short by not doing and putting your best foot forward each and every day. And I just feel like technology is so advanced right now to where a lot of these things that people get involved. Like I was just looking at a video earlier today. The doctor was saying how in many cases, people who have stage 4 cancer that he's found out passed away and everything, he said he goes back and look at their records when they went to their medical doctors, and almost 100% of the time, those individuals' vitamin D levels was extremely low. So he was saying that from his experience, especially in the African American community, the people who have passed away over the last several years, he's went back in there, checked their medical records, and they had low efficiency vitamin D levels. So it could very well be some of the cancers that we have out here today could very well be prolonged or not even in existence.
That's interesting.
Yeah, if we had our levels to where they need to be. Like I'll be candid with everybody. I went to the doctor. This was probably either the year of COVID or the year before. And my doctor said, hey, your vitamin D levels are low. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I guess you could say that because I really don't drink milk like that. Okay. I've never been a milk drinker like that. So I'm like, well, what do I need to do? And he said, well, you won't be able to get these over the counter because at the time they didn't have, they call them international units. When you go get vitamin D, it'll say IU on there. That stands for international units. He said, I need you to take 5,000 per day. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean 5,000? And so I started doing the research and I'm like, man. So I was like, what's natural? 'Cause I'm always looking at what's natural. The natural way to get your vitamin D is 30 minutes of sunlight. So whether you're sitting at the park, whether you go walk for 30 minutes, just do 30 minutes. We coming up on cruise season here for everybody, back home and, East Coast, South. Everybody going on their cruise. Take 30 minutes on that day at sea and post up on the top of that cruise ship and get that vitamin D in your system and everything. But yeah, man, that's what the doctor was saying. So to this day, I still go over the counter and I buy my vitamin D to make sure I'm good. What's up, D?
Appreciate you, Derek.
Yeah. And yeah, man, I know he a driver. Drivers in particular, man, because I drive locally. I can only imagine driving on the road. The OTR life is different, man. As y'all chasing the bag out there, men and women, also take care of yourself, And I know sometimes you taking, loads in the wee hours, taking loads out there, in the wee hours of the night, and it's hard to figure out what to eat, things like that. I highly recommend, taking fruit when it's certain times of the day. Some salad mix that you can mix up yourself to prevent you from getting the convenient foods. Because when you on that road like that, it's easy to eat the McDonald's, the sub.
They got them in there like Flying J salad spots where they go to watch or whatever, watch a movie. It always be like a good restaurant. It'd be junk food.
I mean, it's easy. It's easy to get that convenient foods, man. I mean, I'm talking the burgers, the hot dogs, the pizzas, and all of that stuff, man. But people are having strokes at an earlier age. They're having heart attacks at an earlier age. All of these different things, man. And one thing that I would say that everybody in our community needs to do in particular is called lifeline screening. Do the lifeline screening because, like, again, 99% of these insurances won't cover it, but it's probably going to fluctuate between $99 to about $150, depending on what city you're in and state you're in. But what they do is they test your risk levels of you having a stroke, and they check your heart. They check a lot of different things. And wouldn't it be nice to know that you're at high risk for a stroke, opposed to 2 years later actually having a stroke and losing your sense of being? And this is for young men and young women, from 20s all the way up into your 70s, 80s, 90s. So I just think, man, we just got to take those proper steps to, when you know better, you do better, to be more conscious of your health.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was in the hospital, I'd be up half the night because if I wouldn't sleep early, they was coming in sticking me with insulin every so often or checking my sugar. I'm looking out the window like, you took her out the ball because your dad's health was jacked up. He died at 56. And that's your overall goal, to get past that with your 120. And you getting laid off or whatever else life get you off. Keep that. That's the main goal, get past that. Because you like, well, your A1C is a little high. You're borderline like, yeah, I know, just do what I need to do. I'm good. But I wasn't focused on doing what I needed to do because the other stuff I was letting get to me that, looking back on it, all that I did really wasn't important. You're doing your best work and you still gone. So if it ain't yours, you can be here today, gone tomorrow. But your health need to be your primary focus. And that I was mad about, and you would have been 10 years under your dad, and you ain't finished your purpose. That would suck to see Fred, your dad, and everybody like, you here too early, Jay. And I would hate God say, man, I was trying to get you out of depression over losing that job, Jeff, but you was supposed to be a billionaire, like you said. You was going to have these clinics, this, and this, before 2050. But the voices, you listen to the devil. You want to listen to me. Like, you did a fraction of your purpose, bro. You ain't even did what I wanted to do. Like, I'd be disgusted. Like, Lord forgive me, but fuck it, man. What the fuck? Dang, I crapped out like that. I ain't do half my pearl like Jeff. Your breakthrough was like right around the corner, bro. But your head wasn't focused. Like, I'd be sick, land in heaven, man. But up there, yeah, what the hell? I ain't do half of it. People I should have helped. Like, what the world? So I'm like, okay, that ain't gonna be your story. I'm gonna hear well done. I ain't gonna hear, man, you supposed to do all that stuff you said. Like, you let that stuff get to you. And stress is the silent killer because we all be stressed out on stuff. And at the end of the day, as we move over to spiritual health, I remember watching Facing the Giants, Christian football movie. Dude, team sucked. He probably found anywhere. And he was at his wit's end. He like, Lord, I thank you for the opportunity. Your will, not mine. That's what I'm going to do. And he started trying to impact that on his team. Had one coach gunning for his job, backstabbed him. His wife wanted to have a kid real bad, so they were having issues. He had a bucket of a vehicle. Sometimes he had to push it to start. But he kept coming to work with a positive attitude. And they've been using this one scene to motivate people where the biggest dude on the team, who was the wolf pack leader that he observed, would get everybody not to buy into what the coach wanted. So he told him to do a drill where one of the players weighed like 180 or something, got on his back, grabbed his jersey, he blindfolded him, and from one end zone to the other, he had to crawl. And he said, "Promise me you're gonna give me your best." He's like, "Okay, like, no, I want your word. You're gonna give me your best." Like, okay, cool, I got you. And he doing it, and this dude like, "Man, it's hurt, it's burning." Like, "Nope, keep going. You say you're gonna give me your best. Don't you quit. Don't you quit." I'm like, "Dang, where they going with this?" I'm getting all into the scene. And when the dude, like, "Man, I gave you all I had. I can't get no more." This dude was in the other end zone. And he's like, "Dude, you're the leader of the team. If you be on this bull jab, they're going to follow. I need you to give me your best and lead them." And it changed everything. One of the players' father got him a car. When he finally had a talk with his wife about, if God never gave us a kid, would you still love God? That's the only question you can ask yourself, because He's given us enough so far. But that scene, because I've seen on Instagram recently, like, man, that scene is powerful. Because this dude, it's burning. He just want to get, nope. And he made it from one end zone to the other just on giving it your best effort. So we need to start doing that with our health. Mental, spiritual, physical. Give it your best effort to go in the right direction. And whatever God you believe in, lean on. Because you can't do this alone. Because when you go, when the voices, demons, start talking to you about you ain't going to be nothing, you're going to be homeless, you're going to suck, you'll never get a job, you don't listen. Say, the devil always trying to attack you. Don't listen. You might even have people you know that's that demon. Like, man, you ain't never going to get, not that you're going to be a doctor by now. You ain't never going to do nothing. Don't listen to them either. You keep your eyes on God. And if he truly showed you your destination, keep walking towards it. But you get your blinders like a horse, tune everybody else out, and keep working towards it, because you will get there. And people are watching your grind that you don't realize. And they might tell you, they might not. But when you get there, you inspire them to get on their grind.
100%. I know you switching gears to spirituality. This topic is real, because not everybody is going to believe in your denomination. Not everybody is going to believe in your faith. So my thing is with this is that you got to do what you feel and know to be right. I like to take Jacob's way of the way he did things, and he said, "As for me and my household, serve the Lord." I know the Bible talks about he has sheep of other folds and things like that. So my thing is, who are we to try to condemn and tell people, their way of believing is wrong and they this and they that? We shouldn't look at it like that. My thing is, where's the common ground? A few years ago, I had a great aunt that passed away. And when I arrived to Detroit to come up there for the funeral, right before we was about to go in, my cousin said, "Hey, let's pray." And I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to pray with her when she has a totally different faith from what I believe? And I just was in that moment like, okay, God, what do I do in this situation? And the one thing I was hit with was, instead of saying in Jesus' name, just say amen. So be it. That way we won't have any problem with the denomination she follows and the denomination I follow, and what I believe versus what she. So it wasn't, we used to say Detroit versus everybody. This was, not enough time to have that versus everybody. This was, hey, we both need strength in this moment. I know you believe in God. I believe in God. Let's not bicker about the denominations in this moment. And so I ended up praying. It was short, sweet, and to the point. But in that moment, it made me realize we got to stop all of this bickering and moaning about doctrine. One person over here, Seventh-day Adventist. One person over there is a Muslim. One person over here, Hebrew Israelite. One person over there, Baptist. One person over here, Mormon. One person. We got to stop with all of this, foolery. My thing is, at the end of the day, your doctrine says what it says. He so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And if that's what you believe, and you feel like he, died for your sins and rose on the third day, follow that. I'm right with you when it comes to the Christianity thing. But let's also keep in mind, Christ wasn't the one that called his followers Christians. We were. The people were.
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to, I always tell everybody, if we're going to be deep, let's get deep. Because how deep we want to go when it comes to this stuff. Because we'll be digging for weeks upon weeks upon weeks.
I mean, I could be wrong. I can't recall wherever you saw the red with him talking that you saw word Christian. I could be wrong. All the accounts of him before his last day, I don't recall seeing that word.
Yeah, it was the I forget what city it was, but they were called Christians by the people there when they seen his disciples. But Christ never called his disciples Christians. So that's the thing, man. It's like we get caught up in
titles,
words and terminology and all of these different things that don't matter. At the end of the day, if you believe in a higher being, a higher spirit, and you feel something deep within, that's something that you can't deny it. It doesn't matter what I feel and how, I like it or dislike it. It's what you feel and what you believe and what you know. So you just got to do what's best for you in those moments. If prayer is something that you do it and do it with all your heart. So it says we're supposed to pray and do it without stopping type of thing. Go in that thing and really go in. Pour out your heart and soul to the Lord and let him know you're good, you're bad, and you're ugly, because he already knows it anyway.
Yeah. Main goal is to help people.
That's
so
it.
No matter what your denomination is, are you trying to help somebody? We all can agree this person is trapped in the car. Let's go help them. Don't matter what y'all denomination is. Y'all all agree to go help the people in the car.
You think about it, Jeff. Look at it like a first responder. If you're in a fire, when a person come up that ladder to get you out of that apartment, they're not asking you, "Hey, what's your denomination?" Like,
yeah,
like that's not.
You're Episcopal. I can't help you. Sorry.
That's not the conversation that you're
right.
going to have. You're going to be jumping into that man or woman's arms in a heartbeat because you're trying to get away from that fire behind you. And so I say that to say, at the end of the day, you might be jumping into a non-believer's arms. And the funny thing is, I remember one time I was in the barbershop and there was a kid that said, man, I just don't believe in none of that stuff. I just don't believe this. I just don't believe that. He was going in. And everybody was just letting him talk, and he was doing his thing. And so finally, he asked me a question, and I said to him, let me ask you a question before I answer that. I said, you saying you don't believe this and you don't believe that, but I said, have you ever seen somebody that was physically fit and you could say, I said, we'll use somebody like a bodybuilder. Have you ever seen that, their physique, and you see them and you be like, man, I know that they in the gym, X amount of times a week or this and this. He said, yeah, it goes without being said, because you can see how they look and everything. I said, that's the way I look at spirituality. The more resistance you do versus the evil one, the stronger you're going to become. And I said, you won't even have to be like the fake Christians out here, and you got to announce yourself every room you go into. Oh, I love the Lord. I'm a man. I'm a woman of God, blah, blah, blah. You don't even have to do all that, because people are going to see your actions. It's going to show that's a man or a woman of God. It's I'll give an example.
You're right about that one.
Hey, I give an example. There's a story in the Bible, in the Old Testament. Elijah was walking past this woman's house every day. And she told her husband, that man right there is a man of God. Didn't know him from Adam. She said, hey, that's a man of God right there. So when you're a man of God or woman of God, people are going to notice. Yeah. She noticed so much so she told her husband, we're going to build a room for this young man. And the thing that they didn't have, so they was well off. They had everything except for a child. Everything. Mm-hmm. And guess what? He said, this time next year, you'll have a child. And she looked at him like, hey, don't play no games with me. I already ain't had no child before. Now, you talking Greek now. Like basically she's looking at him like, how this man know? Mm-hmm. You know, I want a child. I desire a child. We haven't had a child. And sure enough, a year later, she had that child, a young man. And it wasn't until he became sick that she reached back out to Elijah and said, basically, she had enough money to where if this was today, she said, run every red light. Yeah. And let's go get this man, because I ain't about to be loose. This man done told me I'm about to have a child. You think I'm about to lose him now that he here? No.
And what was the word she was using when he talked to her? Yeah, I'm like, that was powerful. Like, it is well. I just need to come with me. Like, hey, nah, something ain't right. Nah, it's all good. Just come with me.
Yeah, just come with me.
Like, what the? And he see the kid gone. It's well. Go do what you do. It's good. Like, what you mean it's good? Like I said, it's all good. Just do what you do. And he brought him back.
Hey, so that's the thing, man. It's not always. I know we live in a world where everything is being recorded. Mm-hmm. Everything's being documented. Everything is this. But for those who know, no matter what your denomination is, what titles y'all using out there, but those who know and truly have that relationship with God, and you know about Jesus and the Holy Spirit, the one thing that people can sit up here and say all day long, I tell people all the time, we can argue about a lot of things, but one thing I don't see people arguing about is what's today's date. Y'all don't argue about today's date. I can say, hey, man, what's today's date? You going to say, oh, today is April 5th, 2025. Mm-hmm. Nobody usually argues that. But guess what? Were you here April 5th in 25? Not 2025. I'm talking the year 25. We were not. So how can we say if a man, woman, boy, girl, or child was living during that time frame when you have no proof of that at all? You fast forward to where we are now, and people giving you testimonies of how they used to be.
They finding people.
They finding all these different things. And all I tell people, my grandmother, we did this thing on our other show. We would call it Big Mama Isms. My grandmother used to say, keep on living. Keep on living, son, and you're going to see. And what she basically is saying is that, you know, you may not understand this today, but a day is going to come where you're going to understand everything that I've been telling you. Mm-hmm. And that's how I look at it when it comes to spirituality. It's like, you may not understand it today, but a day going to come where you going to understand this whole thing. Jeff just told us something on here. This man almost checked out of here. It could be moments like that where this might be that man's first time ever having an encounter with God, to tell him, hey, your actions led you here, but this is not your time. Go back and do what I called you to do. Boom, boom, boom. You hear people say that all the time. That's why they got all these Christian movies out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the fourth one that I think needs to be added to that health, your words. Words are powerful. It's in the Bible. The tongue brings life and death. What you say shall come to pass. And we overlook our words so much. And when you think about it, man, I ain't never going to mountain. I ain't never do this. 5 years later, you ain't nothing. Because you just been pointing that imaginary gun on yourself and just keep firing. I ain't going to be nothing. I ain't going to make nothing of myself. No. You're going to make that a self-fulfilling prophecy. You keep telling over yourself, you ain't going to be nothing. You ain't going to amount to nothing. No. Wherever you are in life, you spoke words to be there at that moment. Now, what's the words you want to use to go further? But it's like, I want to have a house, a family, kids. You spoke that into existence, and you got it. So what you want to do next? And man, I'm always in bad relationship. Because you keep saying I'm always in bad relationship. You're telling, and whether you believe this or not, angels and demons are out here. Angels fight for God, demons fight for the devil. So whatever words you're using, you're sending the assignment for that soldier to go to work. Man, I'm always going to have a drug problem. Okay. Timmy Bob just sent this order, always have a drug problem. Demon 2, go get him. And always keep drugs around him. Man, I'm gonna be a billionaire and help 1 million people. Angel, hey, go help out Susan. They're gonna work on what you say. So I think words need to be added to that health as well, because we keep just firing on ourselves. And if you got people around you, get them away from you. Because even them speaking of you ill words, it's just the same as you accepting it. Everybody was born for a purpose. If you don't know it, hopefully you find it. So if you low income or you was born with silver spoon, everybody's journey is going to be different, because for whatever reason, whoever you need to help need to see your journey. But as long as you ain't putting the words you that, man, I'm always going to be a hood, I ain't never going to amount to nothing. You're not. Look at some of these Hall of Fame athletes that had horrible. Shannon Sharp grew up in an outhouse almost. Man, I'm going to give my grandson better than this. And he did. Some of these people hear their story, you find out they were living like that. And you think you were poor, like they was under poor, like dang. I mean, we was getting the Focus Whole food, but we had some, they eating out of garbage cans. What the world? But words are powerful. So you really think about what you're speaking over you and people. Because speaking venom on people can come real too. So watch what you say. Like, man, I wish you died. Oh, they almost got hit by a car. And you sent the order out to that demon. Well, I didn't mean it, and you might not have meant it, but you said it. That's why our parents always taught us, think before you speak. Because some stuff you say you can't take back. And when you married or in a relationship, they tell you don't go to bed angry with each other, because certain things you say that are hurtful that you don't think is hurtful is tearing them up inside. And you don't realize your relationship over. They just trying to find an extra strategy. And you didn't think making fun of their weight, for example, or they cooking, or whatever you said. I was just joking with them, but to them, you was bullying. And from you, it cut deeper, because same team. Just like a female say, man, you ain't provided, you suck. I should have been with so-and-so. That's crushing him. So words is another form of health where mind what you're saying. Are you saying words of love and encouragement over yourself and others, or are you saying all the nonsense over yourself and others? So take on that, Big Ron.
Man, you hit us with some heat on that one, man. I guess what I'll say in our closing remarks is we kick this thing off talking about mental health. I want to give a story in the Bible of a man who was possessed with demons, and the funny thing to me about that story is that the people weren't scared of him until they found him clothed, seated, and in his right mind. That's when they had fear overcome them. And my thing is, let's make some folks scared because they see you clothed, seated, and in your right mind. I feel like in this season right now, we're seeing a lot going on. We're seeing planes crashing. We're seeing the stock market getting ready to go through what it's going through. We're seeing everything to get you all discombobulated, everything to get your focus off of what it should be on. Y'all focusing left, y'all focusing right. I want y'all to focus up. I want you to look up. I want you to realize that some things is bigger than you. Some things you need to just cry out for help. They call it crisis mode because the person is crying out. The young lady in the video was crying out. And the young man may not know what that means. Skid or not, the young man didn't know what to do in that moment. He's thinking, pick up the phone and record. We live in the ha-ha world. Everybody want to ha-ha at everything. We want to laugh at everything. We don't want to take things serious. I'm here to tell you, mental illness is so real. It's real, more real than what y'all think. And it's one of those things where you can laugh, but like Jeff said, there's power in our words. So at the end of the day, if you're going to look down at somebody, let's look down to be able to help lift them up. Let's not look down on the person and step over them like the AI. Oh, when he shot that 3 and stepped over. Let's not step over the individuals out there. You know, when it comes to us physically, you know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says this too. It says, exercise profited little. But let's be real. They didn't have to exercise like we exercise today. They walked everywhere. When you read the Bible, look at how many places they had to walk to. So you can't tell me people was overweight in that day. Everybody was ripped. That's why when I watch these movies about Jesus, I laugh because they always show us a frail Jesus. Yeah. There's no way you that frail when you've been walking that much and things like that. These dudes is ripped. These dudes is cut up. The women was even in shape and everything like that. Had to be. You know, so my thing is, that's why we don't read the stories about diabetes and high blood pressure and all of these things, because they was doing too much walking. They didn't have the convenient drive-thrus like we have today.
Nope. Bread, fish.
Exactly. You know, and lastly, I'll say when it comes to the spirituality is that, you know, everybody knows that, you know, these things it comes down to you either a believer or you're a non-believer. You know, we have atheists out here. They're going to believe what they want to believe. But I tell people the same story. If we playing basketball and Johnny breaks his leg, we see he's hurting. We're not doctors. We see him holding his leg. You can't physically see the pain that he's going through. You just know he's holding his leg. Now, we can sit there and say, man, he faking. That ain't real. Man, ain't no way. Ain't no way that's real. He crying like that. He hurt like that. You know, that's just not real.
Yeah.
But to Johnny know that pain is real. When he goes to that hospital and they tell him they're going to have to put that cast on him for X amount of weeks, months, boom, all of that is real. But all of us naysayers over here, we're saying it ain't real. Do you think that changes Johnny's perspective? Because he's the one going through it. I say all that to say, y'all are going to say what y'all want to say regardless. They talked about Jesus. They're going to talk about us. So I'm cool with what you talking about me. I'm cool with, you know, what you're saying, you know, XYZ, because the truth of the matter, you're liable to see a Christian do anything out here. You liable to see somebody sleeping with somebody in the congregation, all kind of messed up stuff. So I tell people, don't read the Bible trying to prove Christians wrong. Read the Bible to find out more about Christ, find out more about God.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to read this thing and find out the whys and find out who he is, why he is, all of those type of things. I think you'll have a different perspective on the whole spirituality, the walk, your relationship, and people as a whole if you looked at it that way. That's my take.
Man, that's a inferno right there, brother. He's on fire. It's the shoes. I don't even know what to say to that one. We do that. Brother Rome came to play today.
Oh man.
He dropped that heat. Well, you ready to pass collection plate, man? We in church?
Hey,
quick little Bible study.
Hey, go ahead and close them doors. I said close them doors.
That was so wild. So wild. So wild. So wild. Not what you should be doing from that position. You got enough people thinking that's all the church about, trying to get money. There's good people out here doing God's work.
100%.
But I definitely hope everybody tuned in, share this episode, that you get something out of it. It help you. As always, on all my shows, I'm just trying to be obedient because I never like talking about me, but I keep hearing that voice saying it's going to help somebody. So, got to change story. Be better than me. As I say, don't be me. Don't be that hard-headed where you ain't keeping up with your health. You get jacked up. You almost... Dang, Jeff. Hey, y'all, Jeff crashed. I'm sitting like, dang, all these people came to my funeral? Man, that fool didn't even like me. Let me go down and slap real quick, guy. Come on, just once. I'm still going to be me. let me just trip. You know, he ain't like me. She definitely didn't like me. Get up. And they had my, oh, Lord, they had my funeral. Lord, just 2 seconds. Let me just come and slap him. 2 seconds. But, you know, it's tough to think about your mortality. It definitely had you looking at your legacy and everything a little different and making sure you're doing what you need to do to fulfill your purpose and be here. That's the key thing, being here. And stress is a silent killer. Whatever that stress is being caused from, deal with it, tell somebody, get some help. Because you see so many people dying early. People having heart attacks 25, 35, like, dang, they gone. They was always a health nut. So you can't say, well, they fat and obese, that's why. Like, no, you got people with diabetes or whatever that are good health. I was just watching Damon Wayans on Shannon Sharp show. I was like, he's a diabetic. And like, he's always been chiseled. Like, wow, he's a diabetic. So some of these things don't have a look to them. Some of it could be genetics, but what are you doing to give yourself the best chance to have your best life? Find your why, hopefully. Take care of your people. And enjoy some of this life. Because being dusted and disgusted, trust me, depression don't work. Don't work. The devil got enough people taken out. Don't add yourself to that list because he got you thinking everyone's against you. Ain't nothing you can do. There's always help. God is always there. You got family, friends that love you, that'll help you. And the sun will come up tomorrow. So whatever it is you're going through, you wake up tomorrow, you got another day to get it right. So I hope y'all enjoyed this serious topic of health and many Bible studies, Brother Brown. Come scriptures up in this boy, as we do, give it to you real. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. And be safe. Take your health seriously, and your words do matter. So speak something positive over you and your people instead of, man, we ain't never getting out the hood. Stop that. Anything is possible if you want to make it possible. Hope you have a great night. Until next time, everybody.
Have a good night.